I have no filter these days. Yeah, it's a fake way of bonding, really.
Quiet.
So,
Did not go well.
and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back that led to my total emotional breakdown. Thank you, Melissa, for listening to your intuition.
My mom being dead.
And Angie.
Just see you next time.
See you next time. Okay, let's go fast. 1, 2, 3.
Unquiet soul.
Okay.
Oh, really? So
Yeah, Bryson's therapist was diagnosed with it, and then he got sick, and then I got sick, and then
Okay.
anyway, anything new with you? I really have nothing.
But how have you been?
Fine, I think. Like, I told you I had that weird disconnected thing, and interestingly, I started to be able to feel more after I ovulated the other day, because good old PMDD, I get to feel the effects of that right away. But not so far, not in a bad way, but things are like, because this is the thing that will happen, is I'll see a picture of him or just something random like that, and it's like this direct hit to my chest. And it's like, oh, like very physical. And I wasn't feeling that for a couple of weeks. I would say that's probably happening more, but it's not, I can't say it's like really bad right now, because it's almost welcome to feel again. Because it's weird. I wasn't not feeling, but I wasn't feeling this for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it really is because I spend my time doing shit I love to do. Like, and I
Yeah.
haven't had a lot of stress. And the stress I have had, I've managed. So, I mean, I have to think that because then the second anything does come down, it's like everything is compounded by the fact that Jake's gone. So it's like, I
Yeah.
can't fucking believe this is happening with Jake's gone. Like, so that will happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I really have. I mean, I started to feel some weight last night. But I also think that's because little Millie gave us a scare yesterday, because she had a few hours where she was just like ridiculously tired and wouldn't eat. And she just looked like she was having some neurological thing. And I was crying all fucking day.
Oh.
And then I did some visualization work and like whatever, because I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, she's either gonna be okay or she's not, but you gotta chill the fuck out. Um, and she's okay right now. So she perked up last night, started eating and drinking in and running around and being sweet. So that helped. So I don't know. Like, I really think grief kind of just exposes your fault wires. And so I think
Yeah.
I've been managing things pretty well the last couple weeks. Like, I didn't even put out a solo episode because I've just been kind of taking notes as I think of things. And I haven't felt like any major epiphanies or anything like that the last couple weeks. So, about the only thing I've really thought of is more just like how to build a community. Did I tell you though that I went to the grief group?
For yourself, or you were telling me how you went, but it was more for your kids to get them going, and then you wanted to find one for parents.
Yeah, I went to the one. I didn't go to like a child lost one. We just went last Tuesday. So I guess I haven't talked to you about it.
Yeah, but how did
Um,
it
yeah, it was good. I mean, thankfully I know what to expect from situations like that. I couldn't like no, but here was my observation. One, I had to fight to not be the expert in the room.
Yeah, oh, of course.
And
That's good
I'll
self-awareness, though.
yeah, I was like, that's not what we're here for. And so at first some things were irritating me, but then I was like, okay, you're literally out of the house talking to people. That's all you want right now. Like, do you want community? You want to feel closeness to people, so do that. And so I did, and I like raised my hand and answered questions and shit, and it was good. I asked Bryson, like, did that annoy you? Because I knew it would take him a little longer to ease in, but I'm so fucking used to talking to strangers, I really didn't care. But, I also kinda wanted to, like, be a good, support like, me model
Yeah.
how that would look, and then when he feels comfortable, he can do it. But, he was like, "No, why would that annoy me?" And I'm like, "Would've annoyed Jake, I'll tell you that much." He would've found something to bitch about, I'll tell you that. But, yeah, so it was good, and it was really good because, so we go on the same night Charlie does. And when she came out, she was much happier because she was put in a group with older kids this time instead of younger. Because if enough people don't show up, they collapse group. And they'd
Mm.
collapsed her to younger kids the last time, and she was not happy with that. This time, they collapsed her with 14-year-old girls, 2 of them.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Oh my god, she was so in her element. And so we kinda get to pick which one we sign her up for, so I'm just gonna do that next time, put her in the
Yeah.
14-year-old. But she was just talking our ear off the whole way home about what they did
Oh,
and,
good.
all that. So, I think that's really good. Yeah, so I really liked it. I mean, once I suspended my judgment, then it was
Well,
like,
yeah, what annoyed you?
um, personalities.
Mm. That makes sense without even you saying any more.
Yeah, yeah. I live in fear that people will end up finding me and listen to my shows. There were people that I really liked, and then there were people that I didn't like that much. So I was like, oh. But you know what's crazy is the second I just was like, what the fuck are you doing? Quit. Like I literally asked myself, are you doing this to protect yourself? Like, are you nervous?
Yeah.
Why are you being so judgmental? Like, right off the bat, especially when I fucking knew what to expect. You know
Well,
what
it's
I mean?
because I do that too, but I think it's because I'm immediately, like, searching for connection.
Yes.
So, when you have the people that have a personality that you don't necessarily mesh with, it's kind of annoying because you were, like, coming there with the intention to connect with
Yes.
people, and it's like, "Oh, but I'm not I can already tell we're not compatible."
Yes. Okay, thank you for naming that because that was exactly it. So, I sat there in real time and said, Is there some sort of connection you can feel, though?" And that's when
Yeah,
I was like, "Truly, I just want it out of my house. I want it around people, and I wanna talk."
and that's what you
That
got.
meets
Yeah.
all these needs, and as soon as I chilled out, I was like, "Oh, she's really cool. Oh, she's really sweet. Oh, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it
and
was,
that's
like,
the other
really
thing
fast.
because how many times have you, like, met someone and you're like, "Oh, I don't like them," and then once you get to know them, you actually do like them?
Yeah, and I don't like that because I would like to stand by
Just
the
be
notion that I'm
open-minded.
always right about my first instinct on people, so I hardly ever admit that I am oftentimes wrong about my first instinct with people. And it really just depends on how you're evaluating also. Like, I was evaluating from I want people I can talk to on the outside of this group, and
Mm,
probably right now, I did identify that there may be 1 or 2 that would be fun to do fun stuff with, and the thing that we have in common is grief. You know what I'm just realizing this in real time. Um, I said this at the beginning of this journey, but I'm gonna reiterate this in a way that I'm just now reframing and kind of understanding. Is like your friends shouldn't be your therapist, and,
yeah,
like, your expectations for how people show up in spaces really need to be examined to where, like, you're not expecting too much. Because I'm like, "Okay, I what if I did wanna hang out with this person that I'm identifying as kinda fun and quirky," and you know what I mean? Do they have to be able to have this type of conversation with me? No, but she seems like I mean, listen, I'm not gonna hang out with anybody who can't have, like, a serious conversation. Nobody. I just can't do it. I don't have time for that in my life. But she may not have, like, the knowing that we have, but she's, like, legit. You know what like,
yeah,
she's got emotional attunement. She's growing and learning and whatever. And so, yeah, like, what should my expectation of developing a friendship with this person be? I think just somewhere to share space with and have fun and,
yeah.
whereas when I'm looking for connection, I'm like, we can trauma bond, and I think it's an old way of looking at
Yeah.
things. I really do. I think that's some old programming and a way to confirm my negativity bias that, it's just hard for me to find friends and blah blah blah.
But that's a good thing to be aware of because I think friendships that spawn off of, like, shared experiences, like grief or something heavy, like, can turn into a trauma bond.
Mhm. You're right, and listen, I think all of mine did.
Yeah, a lot of
In
mine
my
did, and
history,
that's
I think that because that's one of the things that I identified is that I would very quickly, very, 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 very I mean, in elementary, which is semi-developmentally appropriate, but I mean, I remember creating this contract of expectations, like, "You're my best friend," right? Even in high school, "You wanna be my best friend?" Boom, contract.
Oh,
And then
really?
oh my god, yes. And then all of my adult friendships have formed with just, like, this instant enmeshment. That's what I
Mm,
expected was a lot of codependent behaviors and a lot of acceptance of my codependency.
yeah,
Truly. Gosh, I didn't even think I had anything to learn today, but shit, I just learned all that about myself. Yes, I did. I was always very it's same as relationships, 0 to
same.
100, 0 to
Yep.
100. It's because our fucking charts are ruled by Mars.
What does that mean?
Action, quick,
Uh,
impulsive.
okay, that makes sense.
Annoying, man, that's annoying, but yeah, I'm kinda glad to see this because, that is something that I've wanted to commit to, is developing healthy friendships, and I think I'm just now realizing maybe I still kinda didn't know what that looked like, to
Yeah.
start a friendship.
Honestly, it's hard because there's so many people, like, not doing the inner work on themselves. But to meet someone in a support group, I feel like that right there says a lot about the people showing up, whether you mesh with them and hang out with them outside the group or not, because it means they're actively trying to do something to work on themselves.
Yeah, and I really appreciated too, like, I don't remember any of the things that, like, I was like, "I like that," but I remember a couple of answers because it was, like, very structured, like, they had
Yeah.
a format that they followed, and then some were round robin questions and some were popcorn questions, and I remember just being really open and in hearing what other people had to say and being like, "Wow, I really appreciate looking at that," like,
Yeah.
some of the questions that were asked, I was like, "Oh, that's good that we're looking at that because I didn't even, you know, think about some things or it makes me feel." One of the questions was, like, something it may have been things your family's doing right to support you or something. Because one of them
Oh,
is there
yeah.
anyone in your family kind of, pissing you off or whatever? Um, and I stopped and was like, I mean, I don't really have, like, a lot of family outside of this little nuclear family, but I have really appreciated the way we all move together in this grief?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So,
nice
anyway, it
because
was
I think
cool.
yeah, with grief, sometimes you tend to focus on the negative things, so I like how they brought that aspect in.
Yeah, they really focused, I think the whole session because this was week 3, so we missed week 1 and 2. Thankfully, Charlie only missed her week 1. But I really liked the focus on the family and responses and maybe what's working and what's not because I really hadn't been noticing, like, I noticed
Yeah.
myself, but not necessarily as a unit how we were moving, and I really appreciated and so again, just being open to the process and just wanting to feel connected to people and chilling out, like, it really just made it so enjoyable. Like, I was like, "Okay, bye. See
I
you in a
love that
couple
though.
weeks."
I have a question. In your moments where you're feeling happy and feeling good, do you ever feel guilty? And the reason I ask is because today is the 9-year anniversary of my dad passing. And usually I
Mm.
feel really sad on this day, but I woke up feeling good. And there was like a moment where I felt guilty about it. And then I reframed it to like, no, this is actually like a good thing because it's accepting.
Yeah. So I don't, but that is only because I have done this so many fucking
Yeah.
times. You know what I mean? But
Oh, no.
I remember with my dad specifically, like, it's just I'll just say the short answer. It's just your brain. You know, it wants to feel that connection to your loved one,
Mhm.
and what it says is if you're not feeling really down and holding on to that pain of the grief, then you're losing the connection. But
Mhm.
that's not true. And so yeah, I think it's a normal I've never heard anyone not say that was something they experienced, you know? I've just been
Mhm.
hyper aware of that. So it hasn't happened to me yet with this loss, but it's certainly happened to me plenty with previous losses.
Yeah, especially because I always forget because you were in high school, right, when your dad passed?
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
started the grief journey young.
Yeah. And I was talking to someone, I wish I could remember who now, but just about the parallels between my dad's death and Jake's death. Like both happened
Mhm.
when fucking Saturn was in Pisces, both overdoses, like all of this shit. Oh, my friend V. And just like the story arc of doing it one way then and learning now from that particular experience for how to deal with this one. Even though
Yeah.
totally different losses, it's still, I guess, in some ways impacted me kind of the same because that was my first loss. So it was the biggest in my life at that point, and it was tragic and sudden, as was this. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think guilt of any kind is just our brain trying to form a connection ever.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I work really hard not to feel guilty about, well, really anything in life because what does it do, you know?
Yeah.
But would you want it? This is what I ask myself whenever I feel guilty is like, would I want to do it differently? And if so, how? And you wouldn't. You wouldn't want to sit there
Yeah.
having a god awful day just because, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I actually was able to reframe it pretty quickly, which was good.
Yeah. What did you notice about the guilt though?
Um, I don't know, I was like I just felt guilty for feeling good. I don't know how to explain it. I'm like, "This feels
Was it
weird."
like right when you woke up?
Yeah, so it was also,
Yeah.
like, before I was, like, fully thinking clearly.
Well, I do remember, especially like with my mom, I remember there being a couple times where I almost manufactured sadness because I couldn't connect with what was there authentically. It was very weird, and I've never talked about this, but um about probably around the 9-year mark where it really isn't as heavy as it used to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't really know, I wanted to still feel that connection with her and did. Felt felt her absence still so much, but, you know, by then I was fucking going through a divorce and, you know, had 2 kids
Yeah.
and plenty else to focus on. So, like, I was like, I don't know how to experience this loss today on this anniversary without manufacturing some real sadness over it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of in the headspace I was in, like, oh, like, because I used to do this kind of thing to myself, like, to make myself feel sad, I would, like, listen to a sad song or whatever,
Mhm.
and I would, like, force myself, like, into the emotion. So I
Yes.
easily could have gone in that direction, but I was able to turn it around pretty quick.
Yeah, and this is a really good topic because I really can't think of the amount of times I've done that very thing, or there's a tinge of sadness and I don't know how to experience it, so I go fucking full on and, you know, turn the music on for hours. I do not do that anymore.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't either. I
ever.
also, it sounds ridiculous to think that I ever did that to myself, but I did.
Well, that's a little sore subject between Bryson and I because I was like, "I don't do that," and he's like anyway, he got mad. Um, yeah, no, I think it's hard too because what is it? I don't think it has to mean anything when you wake up and you don't feel as heavy as you have on this day before, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
that's another thing. I've been trying not to, like, attach meaning to things. Some things just are. They don't have to mean
right,
anything.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and sorry, my nose ring is about to fall out. And I had a dream it fell out earlier, so damn it. There we go. Um, I think that's the key right there, is I think that I used to assign meaning, and that's where that, "Oh my god, I'm not, connected to them anymore, da 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 da." That's a meaning that we assign. I used to assign so much meaning. I remember with my grandma, like, the 2nd anniversary feeling relieved that it wasn't as bad as the 1st. Um, but that was probably my first hint at, like, being okay with being okay on an anniversary.
Yeah.
And, like, I have friends who well, I would say most of my friends, all of them really, have never really understood how an anniversary can still be impactful, even if you're not, like, sad all day, even if whatever, how it can rock you a little bit out of nowhere,
Yeah.
you know? So, like,
And
even
that's
if you're
just
having a
it.
really good day right now, later, a wave could come and knock you over.
And I think that's the thing. That's a really good point because other years, like as the grief lessened, I would be feeling good most of the time about it. And then the anniversary would come around and it would just hit me so hard. So I think that's the difference. I'm like, why am I not feeling the big hit like I normally do?
Right, and how about his birthday? How do you feel on that
Um,
day?
that day is better. Like I usually do something like to like celebrate his birthday, but I don't have like the heaviness around it like I do today.
Well, let's think about this too. Like, that was such a big trauma for you
Yeah.
that makes sense that it would trigger the fuck out of you.
Yeah,
Like,
see, I never even
anniversaries
thought
of
of
a
it that
trauma,
way. Oh,
like
yeah.
that's compounded grief. Like, it's different when you are eh, not different less, but the trauma of losing someone that you were expecting to lose is different than a sudden, like, even just a windfall, like my mom, I was lucky that I had at least a few weeks to prepare from the time she, got really sick. But, like, my dad was just like I come home and he's dead. But, like, if you don't have a lengthy preparation period, it I just think the trauma impacts you in a different way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Maybe I would
Like
put it in a way like you're more dysregulated. Your nervous system takes a deeper hit.
yeah, because it's like getting injured in a car crash versus getting injured from running, which is like a chronic thing
Yes,
that
the
happens over time.
impact is
Yeah,
different, yes, and recovery may look similar, but, like, a car crash is probably gonna have more intensive physical therapy, occupational therapy, you know what I mean? Like, there's
yeah,
so much. Yeah, that's a very good way to frame that because, yeah, I think that's what anniversaries can do, um, and then for me, I will say the years my life was falling apart, it was a lot harder to have an anniversary, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I
it would
know.
come up and I'd be like, "God, and still nothing's good, great." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's just like a reminder, "Okay, nothing's
Exactly,
changed."
exactly. I go back to some of my Facebook posts because for years, I did anniversary posts for both of them, or birthday post and, um it helped me so much to, like, have a space to get that out, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
again, I didn't know how to do any of this, so I didn't know how to feel, I didn't know how to process, I nothing, so I loved using Facebook for that. Sometimes it wouldn't be till late that night that it would just be this, like, oh, so sad," like, maybe the whole day was fine, and then late at night, it
yeah,
wasn't fine or whatever, but I think so much of my sadness on those days, or at least the expression of emotion on that day, really did circle around my visibility wound. I felt like I had to constantly fight for the right to grieve, like them, because they didn't like primarily raise me my whole life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I felt very unseen after both of those losses.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about that dynamic because they weren't your primary caregivers, your grandma
Right.
was, and, like, that's a
Mhm.
whole separate dynamic when she passes.
Right. Yeah. So, it was really strange, and yeah, I think I probably just was, like, begging for someone to touch some part of me that felt untouched. I That's the only way that I can
Yeah,
really describe it. So, maybe even on the years where, cause my dad, we just had his 30th anniversary, and then my mom, hers will be in April, and I think we're at, meh, 24 years is what it'll be. So, like, it's been a long time, but
yeah.
maybe around year 12, I was okay, but, like, it wasn't all this heaviness, but maybe I expressed it as heaviness because it was still like, but I still miss my mom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and that's the way I feel about both of them, is like, it doesn't weigh me down anymore, but, like, you never fucking stop missing them.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's not every minute of every day, but every time I'm sick, I just want, like, my mom to take care of me. Not even because she was that good at taking care of me, but that's what I want. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
her absence is very obvious every single time. Something where you would want a mother to care for you, and she's not here. All kinds of She didn't get to be here when my children were born. I mean, all the things. So, like, yeah, the missing doesn't go away. It just becomes different over time.
Yeah, and I think that's so important to understand because I remember when my dad died, like, I was reading books about grief because I just wanted to go through the whole process so that it would end, and I
Yeah,
didn't really understand that it never ends.
God. Look at us little fucking perfectionists. Okay, so I got my grief checklist here, and I'm definitely in stage 1C, and I've done these things, and then I'm gonna move to
Well, that's what was so confusing to me though, because a friend of mine got me a book about grief and what is it, the 5 stages?
Oh, don't
So
get me started on that
I was like,
shit.
"Okay, I'm gonna just, like, read this and go through the stages," but, like, I wasn't, like, linearly going through the stages, so I was like, "I don't understand any of this."
Well, let me educate you for a second. This pisses me off because the stages of grief, written by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, was actually the stages of dying. It was the grief that a
What?
dying person goes through.
Okay, that makes so much more sense because
Yes.
when you apply
It was
it to the
never intended to be used as a guidebook the way it is. And then guess what? Elizabeth Kubler-Ross fucking killed herself. So, how about that?
I didn't know that.
Yes. I was devastated to learn that as well. But, yeah, so she wrote this with the intention of, like, helping, like, hospice patients, essentially.
Yeah.
Or, like, if your loved one is dying, how to help them to get, through the stages so that when they are dying, like, actively, that they've tied up the loose end,
Mhm.
like, and it was just
Yeah.
I mean, interesting that that's what she chose to write a book about, but we really bastardized it with our interpretation of it. And then now people are like, oh, yep, this used to drive me fucking crazy because, I did bereavement for so many years. Like, oh, I've definitely experienced all the stages. I'm like, I hate
Yeah,
you.
that means nothing.
Yeah. Oh, it annoys the shit out of me. But yeah, it's,
I need
it's
this
very
is, like, so
different.
fascinating. I didn't know she died. I'm writing that down.
She may not. I heard she killed herself. So let's
Oh,
clarify that.
I'll let you know later when I Google it.
Yeah. Cause
Regardless, it's trash. Like, if has passed, I'm not trying to speak ill of her, but I think it's trash. When you're
no, it
trying to,
is.
like, help someone grieve.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's why I was like, stop spreading the shit because that's not what it was fucking intended to do. She did die in 2004.
Okay.
Okay, see, she did studies on near death, and so she was like not surprised she killed herself if she was fascinated with death. Um, I kind of
She's like
wonder if she didn't have
precipice
like
of
some
very
spiritual awakening and get
like,
kind of
she
or
seems
have
like
her own grief. 'Cause, like, this losing Jake has driven me a little bit to the brink of insanity and back a little bit, like, and I'll touch on that, but it can make you
okay.
really go to some real I'm fine with everything that I think and feel and whatever, but if I know not to speak it to everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, she must have had some kind of darkness to be able to go to those depths to lay it all out like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and, like, I worked in hospice for years, so, like, I think that the fear, because I think that like, yes, I wanted to help people who were dying and their families, but I think it's the same as the way I used to obsess when I would hear someone lost a child, and I would research it, and I'd watch their sad videos, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'd wanna know all the details, like and truly, it really was, like, so I could prevent it from happening to me, but,
Mm,
like, I think that's why I worked in hospice too, was in some ways to it's this is the weirdest way to put this, but almost like keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Like the closer I step
mm.
to the things that scare the shit out of me, especially
Yeah.
related to death, then it won't touch me. And I really think that that's what I operated from for a long time. But I bet you, especially when you're trying to figure out spirituality in the afterlife, and like
Mhm.
there's some stuff that I've heard recently that I've been like, wow, maybe. You know what I heard the other day? Um, so like our higher self is in soul land all the time, even while we're
Yeah.
here, right? So I read this thing, and I think the lady was saying that she was given the gift of like seeing her daughter's death experience, and almost like a near death for her, but like she got to see. And I was like, "I think I fucking believe this." She said she was greeted with open arms from her mother, and her father, and her like, all of her family was there because our higher self is in Soul Land.
Oh, that's so cool to think about. I never thought of
Yeah,
it that way.
and, like,
Yeah.
it's fine if other people don't wanna believe that and whatever, like, people can do
Yeah.
whatever they want with any of that shit, I don't care. For me, I was like, "I believe that," like, that feels really, like, okay, and I just thought that was so comforting because,
It is really. Also,
like,
like, when you think
you're not
about your
missing
own
anyone.
mortality. Yeah.
Yes, and I do keep hearing that, like, the other side really is whatever you think it's gonna be. Like, whatever you're
Yeah.
wanting it to be is what it will. So, I've been like, "Okay, that's interesting. I don't really know what" you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I've
maybe
never
Jake's
really,
just
like,
off in
took
a fucking field
consideration.
of mushrooms, just doing mushrooms all day, who knows? But I did love that because I was like, "No, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because I do believe our higher self is there at all times.
Yeah.
So, what a
Mm.
cool feeling, right?
Yeah, because then you have access to anyone you want at any time.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah. So it
I
wasn't just my mom and dad and grandma there to greet him. It was us. We were there. Like, you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, not in this form, obviously, but like the people that you chose that soul connection with to do on earth, they're there waiting for you. Like, they're just
Yeah.
their higher selves.
That is very comforting.
I loved it. That made me really happy. So there's been, weird shit like that that I'll really get into, but I'm like, man, it's not a coincidence that I just happen to come across shit like this. I'm not searching. No, I mean, granted, the TikTok algorithm is such that if you pause on a video, that's what's going to funnel you. But that one was different than any of the other stuff I had seen. So that made me really happy. But there, I think weird shit all the time that I'm like, don't tell people that one.
Like what?
I was
Or
trying
what
to
do you feel
think.
comfortable sharing?
Yeah, I was trying to think. I don't know. I mean, most of it probably is shit I would tell you anyway because you believe the same way I do.
Yeah, also, I
Um,
like to go dark for whatever reason.
yeah, I think well, I told you that I had like a little mini obsession for like a week over I guess the best way to word it would be like looking for proof that this was always going to be the outcome. You know what I like
Mm,
that it wasn't early, it wasn't wrong. This is how
yeah.
it, he came for a short time for a very specific reason, and that this was always going to happen. Like I was searching through the astrological shit. I mean, that's how even saw like the similarities between when my dad died and when he died. Um yeah, so shit like that, like I spent hours doing that.
That seems, like, so reasonable, though, because, like, he's so young, so then your mind goes to, like, it wasn't his time, but it really
Right.
was for some unknown
Right.
reason.
Well, and I kind of here's where I've been like questioning stuff. I don't know if that's the right way to frame this. Is like I don't I know that free will is everything here, but I think the major people in your life, like, I think it's always their time. That's the thing is
Yeah.
I'm like, we signed a contract for me to, like, whether it was gonna be this or that, I'm here to learn this thing. These people are here to teach me this thing and to learn this from me. I think even the way we die is going to impact that. So that's where I get really like, I don't know. I'm really starting to believe, like, because with my mom for a minute, I was like, well, maybe it was like she just didn't pass the test. You know what I mean? But then
Mm.
I'm like, well, or that may have actually been her purpose. Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, it can be both.
yeah, yeah. And then I know that that's a recurring thought I've had about my older brother. Because for years I was angry, like, why in the fuck is he gonna outlive us all with such a shit quality of life? Like, this is so
Yeah.
fucking unfair. I was grateful to, like, come around to spirituality because I was like, he has a purpose, whether I understand that or not, and I can see how in everyone he meets, he's impacting some part of their journey. And so, God knows he impacts mine. But so it really does help me because I used to not fucking understand. And I was raging about that for a long time. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? What is the fucking point in just like feeling like nobody loves you, walking around on the streets, delusional? Like, what the fuck? But I feel a lot better thinking, oh, okay, well, he's serving his purpose. I don't have to understand it or love it for it to be
Yeah.
as meaningful as anybody else. So that's, I mean, from with Jake, intuitively right away, it felt like, no, it was always going in like this at this time. Like
Yeah.
that, because I don't think that I would have had that feeling about him at like fucking 3 years old if, you know what I mean? Like, it,
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, because 'cause you're very intuitive, so, like, why would you have been thinking that his entire life?
mm-hmm. That's what I think too. So, yeah, it's been I have found myself like really slowly wanting to know more about that part of things, like about like the other side. I don't know, like I'm so comfortable in never exploring any of the darkness that we hear about, like entities and whatever.
Oh,
For
yeah.
me, I just don't fucking care about any of that, and I feel like I have an energetic force field around me that I don't fuck with any of that, and it ain't fucking with me, and I don't need to know about it. But I don't know. I feel like maybe I do. Like maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But right now I'm not fucking with any of that. I'm just there's a little soul land where my little soul family is. And that's great. And it's kind of fun to think about too. Like right now, your highest self is like with your dad in his
Yeah,
highest self. Like, isn't that fun to think?
love
And
that.
all your little other people, like all the people that you've signed this contract with, you're all just chilling, helping you, like, and helping other people in this little soul family. Like, still to this day, your highest self and his highest self are like leading you. And it's so cool. Cause do you ever like ask, like, your spirit team, like, to help you see things differently?
Oh, yeah, frequently. Or even
That's
my
been the
dad.
biggest gift for me.
Like, I write letters to him a lot.
You do?
Yeah,
Yeah. Does that help?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember writing my dad a lot. In fact, what's crazy is I guess I wrote one to my dad that ended up with my paternal grandma's stuff. And when my sister came to help me clean that couple weeks after Jake died, she brought some stuff that my grandma had left for them when she died. And one of those letters was in it. So that's funny. I don't, I have not started writing to Jake at all. I've thought about it, but I talk to him so much that,
Yeah,
like,
it's the same thing.
yeah. Whereas, like, I didn't feel comfortable doing that with my dad because I was
Oh,
still
really?
very much around this, like, bitch ass grandma who's like, "That's morbid."
Yeah.
There was no expression of grief allowed except for, like, if if you very, like, succinctly said, like, "I am sad. I am missing my dad today." And then that's that. She could pat herself on the back because then you're talking about things with her. But,
Yeah.
like, nothing that at all meant you were maybe gonna lose your mind. I don't know. She was, like, so fucking weird about it. Everything was morbid to her. That's morbid.
That's so interesting.
Mhm. I never understood that. Like, I try to get what her fear was, because that's the only reason you would react that way. I really think that she must have been afraid that, like, people would get too sad, that you know what I mean? Maybe they would sink into depression or something.
Or could it have been the religious aspect? Because I remember my grandpa didn't like Halloween because it was, like, summoning evil spirits,
Mm,
and it's
yeah.
just like, come on, it's just costumes.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, she wasn't like that. She really cherry picked what was okay in religion. But like I told you I thought about I had like 3 pictures of my dad, and when the day he died, I had pulled them out of cuz I had them in frames. I don't even know why I had those, but um I'd been looking at them before I went to sleep, and I guess I positioned them
Oh, yeah.
weirdly.
You told me
Yeah,
that,
and she
yeah.
freaked the fuck out the next day and was like, "You're not building no shrine," whatever.
Like,
Whereas
yeah, because
now, like,
I actually was
we
just
would
about ready to say
absolutely
you
build a
built a shrine,
shrine. Yeah,
but you
she
didn't.
did, she really did, and I was like, "What's wrong with a shrine?" But she was like I think she did kind of view that as an altar, which was like,
But
"No,
see,
no,
that's
lady."
more of, like, the religious aspect too.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
don't know. We
So
could
that
probably
part I
try
could
to
see
analyze
being
her all
religious.
day.
She was fucking wild. A shrine. Can you believe that?
I
"Don't you build you no shrine."
You ever remember Jenny McCarthy had, like, it was like a comedy show. It was a long time ago, like, maybe in the late
Uh-huh.
'90s or early 2000s, but there was one she did this sketch where she was working in an office and, like, there was this male guy, and so she would be really rude to the male guy, like she was better than him, but then she went home and she had this huge shrine of him in her room, like and when I say shrine, I mean it, like, covered an entire wall, so when I think of shrine, that's what I think of, like, an
Oh my
entire
god.
wall of pictures.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know why that, like, sticks in my memory so much, but it was so funny, but anytime I think of a shrine, that's what I think of, like, just in an like, over the top.
Well, now I really do kind of associate it, like, my first instinct with altar, because
Yeah.
that's the association she made me feel, which I had a negative connotation about altars for a long time, like, I fucked this dude one time, and I was still kinda religious, and saw that he had, like, a sun altar, and it oh my god, I freaked the fuck out. I freaked the fuck out. I was like,
Did
"Oh my
you
god, we're going to hell?" Yeah. Now I would totally, like, have altars, but,
Yeah, you'd be
um
like, "Oh, this is cool."
yeah, like, I'm on the Channy app, and so every month she'll, like, give you, like, an altar suggestion, like, if you're trying to, channel certain energies or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I've never done it, but I like to read about it. I
I
did buy,
honestly
a little, like, crystal someone I know is creating these, like, different bags for different seasons, and she's put some crystals in there and shit, so I bought one, and, haven't opened it yet, but I wanna get more intentional about stuff like that, so, I don't know. Altars can be scary, I guess, and also that's one of the big religious parts that stuck with me is, like, no altars, no false gods, no
Oh,
were
yeah.
you religious at all?
So, we were religious in the sense that we, like, went to church every single Sunday, but we were the kind of Catholics that just, like, checked off all the boxes and didn't really
Okay,
practice the stuff in real
okay.
life. So, yeah, it was more like that.
So you were Catholic?
Yeah.
Did you do the whole confirmation and all the things?
Yeah. But again, it was
Wow.
just, like, going through the steps, like,
Yeah.
I
It was
wasn't, like,
almost tradition.
practicing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Do you
actually, it was
so
funny because,
yeah.
my s so I have a goddaughter, and when she was baptized, like, to be confirmed as her godmother, like, I had to prove that I was, like, a confirmed Catholic, which meant, like, regularly going to church, and I was like, "I don't regularly go to church." So I wrote a letter to the church that I went to as a child, and I basically was like, "Can you send proof that I was baptized and confirmed there?" Which I was. So luckily that was like that held up and I was able to be her goddaughter, but it's like, I don't go to church. Like, I don't.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah, because I forgot you're supposed to profess that you will help raise them
Yeah.
in the faith.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Can you please prove that I did all the steps? Oh my
but the thing is, my
god.
friend knows, she knew that when she asked me to be her godmother.
Were
So,
you not like, "Hello, you know the rules, bitch."
well, and also just even in asking me felt more like a formality because it's like, first of all, she has 3 other daughters. So, and at the time it was only her 3rd daughter, but
Yeah.
it's like if something really happened to her and her husband, they would wanna keep the daughters together, and especially now that
Right.
I live here, like, yeah, I signed up for it, so if I had to, like, I would let her move here, but that would never happen because they wouldn't wanna split up the daughters. They would wanna keep it with a family. So I'm kind of like, "This is so unrealistic anyway, so I'm just gonna have the
We were
relationship with."
talking about that the other day about the pomp and circumstance around, the whole godfather, godmother thing.
Yeah, because ultimately I would do it, I just don't think it's realistic that she would ever actually be under my caregiving.
Right, right, right. You're like,
Yeah,
"This just
yeah,
this
exactly.
this just
No,
like
she's older
I
now,
help
though.
sprinkle, right?"
How old is she? She'll be 13 this year. So now that she's older, yeah,
You'd have fun.
ultimately, if something happened, like, we don't know each other very well, so it might be weird at first, but ultimately, if something happened and she did live with me, it would be a little bit better. But I was a little scared when she was younger because I was like, "I don't know if I want a kid."
Do you watch Grays? That's like the conversation Christina and Meredith had to have.
No.
Yeah. So how do you know her mom?
Oh, we've been best friends since 2nd grade, and
Oh, really?
also, yeah, and her first 2 daughters, she has 2 sisters, so her first 2 daughters, her 2 sisters were her godparents, and I'm, like, really the only other reliable person she knows because her husband's sister, which I think would have been next in line, is, like, a total, like, she doesn't have her shit together at all, so I'm just the responsible one, basically. So I was
Yeah.
actually honored that she, like, considered me responsible enough.
You think I could do that? Oh my god. Yeah,
Also,
cause
I could,
ain't nobody ever gonna make me their goddamn kid's godmother, I'll tell you that much. Not a single fucking person on this earth would be like,
but why not
"Will you
though?
take
Like, you
care of
have
some kids?"
experience with kids, raising kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that my
I think
I
you'd be
don't
a
think that
better godmother than me.
I mean, now I would probably be fabulous if I, like, wanted to do all of that again,
Yeah.
but, like, yeah, I can definitely see whereas before the last few years, no one would have ever given me that role, and now I'm like, Y'all gonna have to figure it out. Ain't nobody. Because me and Brian talked about this after Jake died, but we both were like terrified that he was gonna get someone pregnant. We were gonna end up fucking raising the kid. Because I was like, I don't
Mm.
fucking want that. I don't want to raise a kid. I
Yeah,
don't want him to have a baby, and I don't want to be the one in charge of it at all. We
because that
like,
ends up happening sometimes, like,
oh
the
yeah,
grandparents end up raising another kid.
right. And I knew I did not want another fucking kid, and that was one of the first things me, Bryson, and Brian thought about was like, damn, I really may not ever have grandkids. Because Jake was really the only one that we thought for sure would do it.
Yeah,
Because Bryson's not sure he wants kids, and he will be responsible about that decision, I'm sure. Charlie for a little bit was like real like, and then, couple incidences of actually requiring care for animals. And she's like, oh no, it seems really hard. And she's like, I mean, I want a baby, but like I don't want a kid. And I was like, thank you. That's all I'm saying. Babies are cute. 2-year-olds
yeah,
aren't. So,
just get a babysitting job for babies, perfect.
right. And so for real, I was like, I really may not have grandkids, which for the record, I'm fine with. I don't, I kind of think now at this stage of the world, like it's selfish to bring more kids into it, like
Yeah,
into this environment. But then someone said the other day, but like someone's gotta someone's gotta like put the good people in the world. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
true.
But for me, that's a no for me. And I'll be okay if my children decide not to have children because it's a lot of worry. Like, think about that. Like, how much you would worry about this little baby that you get no fucking control over because your kid thinks they know everything.
Well, I think isn't that how grandparents become, like, what's the word, meddling?
Yeah. Yeah. And they do that a lot. I don't want to be that. But also, if you're like Jake, just had these really toxic ideas about toughness and whatever, you know? So, like, I wouldn't let him be
Oh,
mean to a little boy because that's how you
yeah.
make him tough. So then we'd be fighting and then he wouldn't let me see the kid. Then what?
Oh, you already, like, thought this out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I stressed about it all the time. Like, please don't get somebody pregnant, please. That's one thing I can put in the relief box.
See,
That
there's
and no more car wrecks. Those are real big reliefs for
Oh,
me.
did you get in a lot?
He got in 2.
That's enough, yeah.
Yeah, 2 in a very short amount of time, and, I told you he was being sued by one of the wrecks?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we got, something right before Brian left for Florida, and right before the snowstorm hit, I had to go file a thing at the courthouse saying that he died, he doesn't have any estate, blah, 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 in
Interesting.
response to the lawsuit, which is so fucking stupid because he was the 5th car in a 5-car pileup. But he didn't do any
Uh,
fucking damage to anyone, but whatever.
well, another thing in the relief box, not getting sued.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Okay, love, I got a client.
Alright, it was always good talking to you.
You too, honey. Hold on. Hello. Before you go, make sure to check the show notes for all the links. You can join us on Patreon to get our weekly companion, The Unquiet Lowdown, and explore the other membership offers waiting for you there. And if you're enjoying the show, it means so much when you hit that follow button and give us a 5-star rating to help other souls find their way here.